We stay on that story. The UK agreeing to give up to Mauritius sovereignty of the Chagos Islands. That puts an end to decades of territorial tussles over these remote but critical cluster of islands in the Indian Ocean. The deal has yet to be finalised, but both the UK and the Mauritius have pledged completion as soon as possible. The agreement also includes ceding control of the largest island of Diego Garcia, which Britain leased the US in 1966 to use as a military base. The base will, though, remain there. US President Joe Biden has welcomed the move, saying the deal secured the operation of the airbase into the next century. In the early 1970s, the UK evicted almost 2,000 residents to Mauritius and the Seychelles to make way for the airbase. The expulsion has been described as a crime against humanity. Britain later apologised for the forced removal and promised to return the islands to Mauritius once it decided that they were no longer needed for strategic purposes. Thousands of displaced people will now be allowed to return home. Britain has controlled the region since 1814. It detached the Chagos Islands from Mauritius in 1965 to create the British Indian Ocean Territory. Mauritius has long argued that it was illegally forced to surrender these islands to achieve its own independence from the British in 1968. And from what Olly Barratt joins us live from London. Olly, what's behind this decades-long effort to achieve this particular deal?
Well, as you say, this is a deal that was in negotiation already with the previous Conservative government, but has now been brought to fruition by the new Labour government led by Keir Starmer here in the UK, and he's been welcoming it along with the Mauritian leaders and, as you say, Joe Biden, the US president too. There are a number of reasons that negotiations towards a deal have been ongoing. One is growing international pressure on the UK on this particular issue. The UK has also found on the international stage that it has sometimes been difficult to make its case on a number of issues because of the criticism that it would receive from some countries, notably many African countries, on this issue around the Chagos Islands and their future. So the UK clearly feeling that it was the right time to make this move. But when it comes to that military base on Diego Garcia as well, the UK felt that all of the uncertainty and the criticism and the pressure that it was receiving in international courts and in other international domains was actually making the future of the US-UK military base in the future more uncertain rather than certain. And so it feels that doing this deal with Mauritius not only corrects what is said in the statement from the two countries, an historic wrong, but it also believes that it can, for the long term, secure the position of that key military base for the US and the UK.
Perhaps because it is a key strategic military base, what happens at that base in Diego Garcia is not well known. Not a great deal of information is available on that. What do we know about why it matters strategically and what actually goes on at that base on Diego Garcia?
That's right, really shrouded in secrecy. I mean, part of it is clearly simply to do with the location of this base, which gives the US and the UK the ability to have a position in the Indian Ocean that can be advantageous for all sorts of military reasons. The closest military bases for the two countries to the base on Diego Garcia are quite far away. So having this foothold in this region is considered to be very important by both countries. We know that operations in the Middle East have sometimes been launched from Diego Garcia, or indeed have had some involvement at that base at Diego Garcia, certainly considered key to that region. But journalists have been given very, very little access, if any, over the years to the base at Diego Garcia. You can't really get there without permission and permits that are very hard indeed to secure. It's been reported previously that perhaps there are some operations related to space which might have a foothold at this base at Diego Garcia as well. And we've also seen in recent years the UK trumpeting its pivot towards the Indo-Pacific region. So for all of those reasons, the UK and the US have felt it very important to secure the future of the Diego Garcia military base. But as you suggest, there is still a huge amount that we don't know about exactly what goes on there.
Oh, thanks. Olly Barratt reporting live to us there from London.